All right, so before we get to this, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with The Day After Roswell, the book. We've read it right here on Nocturnal News many times. Well, this guy brings up a very good point. Truth poll. He says, first, I find it fascinating that the UFO crash video from Russia was debunked as KGB misinformation. Now, you guys remember that video. I don't want to play it here, but this video right here, he's talking about how that was debunked according to the powers that be. But in the book, Day After Roswell, remember Philip Corso, he clearly explains how the KGB, NASA, CIA, and the military all collaborated on Project Corona, a space-to-Earth surveillance program. And he goes on to say how they were basically looking for, downed UFOs. In other words, saying the KGB and Russia, USSR, KGB, they just had a long-standing role hunting for these UFOs, going back, prior to the 90s, all the way back to the 1940s, back to Roswell. All right, so before we get started today, let's have a look. This is the official document, www.cia.gov. Okay, enough of that. Now let's get to the story here. We're going to hop over to the Telegraph, and I'm going to read, what's going on here. I mean, this is crazy, guys. CIA reports Russian soldiers destroyed a UFO and then turned to stone. Wow. A top secret CIA report states that a troop of Russian soldiers destroyed a UFO and then was turned to stone by the surviving aliens. The document, now declassified, claims that 23 soldiers were killed by 5 aliens in a flying saucer in a confrontation. This is Siberia, 1993. The document on the official website of the CIA, okay, we just confirmed that. It was reported in the Ukrainian newspaper. The latter reports on the 250-page KGB dossier on the alien attack, which includes photographs and testimonies. Now, I was a little bit confused by that at first. I said, well, 250 pages, why do we only have one? Well, what they're saying, this was a dossier, and this was one of the reports among many others. So, but it does say includes photographs and testimonies, so I'm going to definitely dig for those. Now, according to the report, a flying object appeared over the military unit that was being trained in Siberia. Now, it doesn't say it in here, but I'll tell you what happened in just a minute here. It states that 5 short humanoids with large heads and large black eyes, emerged from it. Only 2 soldiers are said to have survived the encounter. Now, what I read earlier in the actual report is that it was basically taken down with a surface to ground or ground to surface, whatever. What is that called? Surface to air rocket launcher. The report states that 5 beings emerged from the crash ship and merged into one, forming a ball of light that then exploded and turned 23 soldiers into stone, like the Bible. This is like biblical. Wow, that's tough to believe, honestly. Referring to the KGB report, it also said that the soldiers who remained alive were transferred to a secret research institute near Moscow. Okay. A representative of the CIA writes at the end of the report that if the KGB data is real, this is a terribly threatened issue. Well, yes, of course, aliens have weapons and technology beyond our imaginations. Remember Admiral Byrd? We remember what he said. The guy from Skunk Works, about Star Wars. So Ronald Reagan. I mean, there's so many people, Bill Nelson from NASA, that have come forward and made these statements about, intelligence and their technology. Now, like I said, I read this whole thing, and they were doing some training there in Siberia, and all of a sudden, boom, somebody shoots a UFO out of the sky. They go to the UFO, 23 soldiers, I guess it was 25, and 23 of them are turned to stone after the aliens merge into one ball of light and then basically project this weapon, this force, this energy on the military men and women. I don't know if women, but just men and women. And then they were brought to a facility in Moscow. But the thing is, we need photos. We need testimonies, and I'm going to go look for those right now. All right, so let me just, give you my conclusion here. In closing, I cannot verify any of this. Yes, this is a real CIA document that's verifiable. But as far as I know, there's no photographs, there's There's no witness testimony. This story has been reported throughout the news for years. I found articles 2015, 2016, 2017, even in like old tabloid magazines. So, I don't know. I'm going to have to call this one unconfirmed. Now, do I believe it? I don't know. I'm probably on the fence on this one. Aliens getting turned into stone by some freaking Power Rangers. I don't know. You're going to have to show me a little bit more proof, but why would there be a document in this dossier? I mean, that's what I would like to know. Now, you don't just put documents, or into the CIA for nothing, for no reason. I mean, what is the point in that? So, I don't know. If you guys have any further details, let me know.